What do you want people to know about Jeanie?
She was a loving child. I had gone through so much to have my children, and she was spoiled like the rest of them.
She was a free spirit. She accepted everybody for who they were. She wasn't judgmental. She loved to have fun. She loved animals. She loved people. She was super good with old people. She loved kids.
You know, I had lost so much of her during the time she was, after 13 years old. It was very hard.
My mother put herself in a lot of danger, going down in places she shouldn't have been, with a gun in her purse and a Great Dane.
Trying to save her.
Trying to get her out of places she shouldn't have been many, many times, and put herself in great danger to try and get her daughter to stay home.
Can you tell me about those times, about when she used to run away?
Oh God, I would go to bed at night and I would just cry because I kept thinking, you know, maybe they're going to find her on the side of the road dead, you know. And yeah, I went into some pretty dark places looking for my daughter, wanting her to come home and stay home. She was in some pretty bad places.
Running with the wrong crowd.
I just didn't know what to do.
What age did that start at?
She was probably about 13.
And that's when she was running
All of
away?
a sudden my son said to me, "Mom, Jeannie's been going out at night." And I said, "Are you kidding?" And so I, caught her a couple of times and I said, "You get back in this house." And then she snuck out a little bit better. Not so much.
She got smarter.
What was that time like for you as she's growing up and running away and getting into some trouble?
Thank God that He has followed me all this time and has cared over me and has helped me through all of this, because I had lost Cindy's father too at that time. So I had all the children, and I went back to school to take up a business course to get away from the medical field. And I had to work part-time. I had to get a sitter for her. It wasn't easy. People don't realize it, especially those that have the money to survive. I was left with 3 children. I was 21 years old. My husband was 21 years old when he got murdered. And it was a very, very difficult road. Without the Lord, I would have never made it.
Minneapolis hasn't been good to my family. I've lost my father and my sister both.
So I said, I'm moving my children to Isanti. I'm getting away from the bad areas. For a long time, I didn't know where she was, what was going on with her. No, there were times that she called me in the middle of the night crying, and she was captured, as far as I'm concerned, because of drugs and these people that had her on the drugs.
I got a lot of letters. She would write me letters, and I still have them to this day.
What did they say?
Just asked how the family was doing and how much she loved and missed me. Would ask me about school, how I was doing in school. And I took up I did skating lessons and gymnastics and singing lessons, and Mom had me in everything under the sun. So whatever I was into at that time, she'd always ask and tell me that she loved me and who her boyfriend was at the time, and how I was doing with my boyfriend, and we'd talk like sisters do.
Something to hang on to.
Yeah, I still have them.
And I tried going counseling with her, but that didn't work because she wouldn't show up. And then I just I wrote her a letter also, the last letter I wrote her, telling her that I will not stop until I find the person that did this to her.
Oh,
And she didn't.
yeah.
I said, we're going to get to the bottom. I need to know what happened. I'll probably never know why, but I wanted him caught.
Did you worry about Jeanie?
Oh my God. Every day, and I kept saying, God, please let her come home. Tell her I need to know what's going on. She called me a couple of times when she got arrested, and I said, Jeanie, I said, is there something wrong with your brain? I don't understand how you can be doing these things. I just don't understand it. You've got a good home.
A mom that loves you.
I love all my children.
What were some of the things that she got in trouble for, that she got arrested for?
Prostitute. And the police, they talked to me and they said, I can say one thing, she has been brought up right because she never fought them. She was very polite. I talked with Jean on Friday and Saturday night. And I told her to go to the clinic because she had that abscessed tooth and get some medication for it. I wanted to go there and get her. And she kept saying, no, Mom, I'll be okay.
Her famous
Don't
line,
worry about me.
I can take care of myself.
Yeah, those were the last words.
And then my mom was at work when she found out.
They had no
watching
way
TV.
of getting a hold of me because her phone was locked. And I saw them taking her, the lady, I was doing hospice at the time, and the lady decided she wanted a television on. And they said there had been a body taken out of the building, I think it was Pillsbury, and she was in her 30s. That was murdered. And I looked at the building and I said, oh my God.
They showed them taking her out.
I seen them taking her out, putting her into the vehicle, and I called my husband and I said, I think something happened to Jeanie last night. And he goes, what? I said, I think something happened to Jeanie. And he said, well, call the mortuary and
Corner.
talk with them and see whether they brought a body in, who it was. And the gentleman on the phone said, are you all alone? And I said, well, I'm in a client's home right now, taking care of her. He said, well, I think you better get somebody with you. He said, well, what is your daughter's name? And I said, Jeanie Childs. And he says, I'm sorry, ma'am, but that was your daughter.
That's how you found out.
That's how I found out. And I started to scream. And of course, the woman I was taking care of, her husband was there visiting with her. And he come running out and he says, what's going on? And I said, I think my daughter was murdered. I have to go.
It's probably a moment that lives in your mind. The moment you learned.
I can't imagine.
I wanted to go and see her and they wouldn't let me. And I didn't see her till the day that we had the funeral. And she didn't even look herself. And she was so cut up, she had to be dressed in, I got a black dress with long sleeves and gloves on her hands. Because I assume when she was trying to stop him, he was also stabbing her in the hands. I know that my daughter was crying for me. I know she was. That hurts the most.
They said that.
And I wasn't there.
Yep. The amount. Yeah.
It stays. I wanted to be there.
I think every mother does.
That'll never leave me.
They said the amount of blood that was in that mattress.
That
fight went on.
You try to
for a long
protect your
time.
child. You try to protect them no matter how old they are. I can't ever forget that, because I wasn't there, and I know she was calling for me.
This was just raw and this deep loss, and you didn't have any answers.
A lot of anger. Really. I was.
Well, I'm a very strong person, which I give my mother thanks for that. And I believed that the Lord was going to help me through this. And that's what got me through. Had I not prayed every night, and I prayed the whole time she was gone too, because I said, I need to know, Lord, before I die, what happened to my daughter. Mm. And so God and the angels have kept me through all of this. Jesus has been there all the time for me. Mm-hmm. And if it hadn't been for me being so strong in my beliefs, I probably wouldn't be here today. I don't want to lose my children.
Nobody wants to lose their kids. I couldn't imagine. If I lose one, I would be. I can't imagine.
And you lost your sister.
I lost my sister, yeah. My only.
And your father.
Yeah.
What was that time like for you?
Horrible. I had a baby who was just over a year old, who was never able to know my sister.
What do you miss?
She missed it all. She missed it all. She missed my kids growing up. And I know she would have been such a good aunt to them. Mm. She's missed it all. She's been gone a long time. I miss the most her goofiness. She loved Lionel Richie. He was her favorite. And she would hear Lionel Richie and she would start dancing. And oh, yeah. Yeah. She loved to dance, and she would dance and sing. And you'd always hear her snapping her fingers and dancing around, and Lionel Richie was one of her favorite.
What was it like when you found out someone had been arrested in Jeannie's murder?
I had a hard time at first believing it, because I thought, maybe he didn't do it and they just think he did it. And so I said to Chris, the detective, are you sure? You're calling me up and giving me information I really have been waiting 26 years for. I really need to know this is the truth. He said, Betty, it is.
100% sure we got your guy.
What was that like to hear that?
I was blown away to find out that this guy was living in the hometown that I basically grew up in. The kids played hockey together. He was a business owner. Couldn't believe it.
Did you ever think of what kind of person it would be that would be her killer?
I did. I figured it was maybe a gang member or somebody, on the wrong side of the law. But to find out that it was a business owner in the hometown, the little town of Bisani, was really hard for me to swallow.
And into the church, as strong as he was, I don't understand how a person could do something like that to any woman.
To anyone.
And be able to live with himself all these years knowing. And I was not about to sit back. I had to know why and who did it.
And I give my mom a lot of credit, because she never gave up. She never gave up, no matter what. She called all the time, every year, at least once or twice a year, got in contact. Even, there would be several different cops that retired, and she would stay on the phone and kept saying, do you have any more information? She wanted closure.
What was that like, waiting all of those years?
Oh, awful. People don't realize what a mother goes through. I mean, I cried a lot, I prayed a lot. It's been a really hard road. And
we miss her.
Yeah, he took her away from her family. There was no need for what happened.
He could have made the choice to leave if things got bad in that apartment, and he chose not to. And what he did to her is unspeakable.
Yeah. It takes a madman to do something what he did to her. She did not deserve that. She did not deserve that.
What was it like when you heard the jury come back with the guilty verdict?
I wasn't surprised at all. Not after hearing all the evidence we heard.
It was like some wind could just finally be released.
And then they tell you, you can't react, you can't. I mean, that's tough to do when you're in that situation because you want to just scream from the rooftops, you want to.
It's really, really hard.
I mean, we couldn't react. We were told we couldn't react. And that's a tough thing to do.
Jeanie was not a bad person. She just went the wrong direction. I want people to know that he could have left the apartment and my daughter would still be here. I want people to know that she was not an animal. She did not deserve to die like one. Even an animal is not always murdered, killed that way.
The way he left her.
The way what he did to her was uncalled for. And I'm saying that if things started getting heated in that apartment, whatever the problem was, she was sick with an abscess tooth, he should have just backed out of there.
Left. He made
and
the
left,
choice.
and this would not have happened, and he would not be sitting now.
He'd be free.
In jail. And I just hope that he can close his eyes at night and see her face every night. That's how I feel. I want him to suffer.
Even in my closing letter that I wrote to the judge, I said in there, nobody wins in this.
And I really don't want her being blamed for what happened because his choice was the wrong choice.
Do you feel like Jeanie is being blamed for what happened to her?
Yes, I do.
Some people probably. They're like, well, she lived a lifestyle that led to, unfortunately, her fate. But I don't believe that.
It doesn't matter. She was still a human being, did not deserve to be slaughtered like an animal.
Where are you today? Where is your pain? Where's your heart? Where does everything live today?
I don't think you ever.
My heart, I lost part of my heart when she was gone. When you lose a child, part of your heart leaves with them.
Yeah. You don't really recover from that.
Is there more peace now that
Yeah.
there's some resolution?
A little bit.
I know it doesn't change the loss.
No.
No, it hasn't really changed for me because the loss is something you can't ever let go.
And like I said in my statement to the judge, nobody wins in this. It's a loss for everyone. Yeah. And it's just a sad thing.